Hey everyone, today on People Now, Justin Bieber takes major legal action in response to accusations of sexual misconduct. The Dixie Chicks announced they've changed their name to The Chicks. We'll tell you what the country stars are saying. Also today, it is summertime, but are beaches safe to visit amid ongoing COVID-19 concerns? We have an expert with top tips before you hit the sand. Comedian and actress Nicole Byer tells us about her new book, Very Fat, Very Brave, and going on her journey to self-love. Plus,
it's really been an incredibly eye-opening, rich experience.
Actor Hank Azaria getting real about his eye-opening look into racial issues following controversy surrounding his character Apu on The Simpsons. All that and much more today on People Now. Let's go. Hey everyone, I'm Jeremy Parsons. So good to see you. Happy Friday. I escaped the city to our friend's country home where it's very relaxing and there's also a tiny little pet bunny. Oh my gosh, as a house pet. Very feisty, roaming around the house. Yep. Not happy about being held, but it does like roaming around the house. Is it potty trained? I don't know. Will it eat my luggage? Probably, but it's super adorable and I'm just gonna be petting this little guy while we do the show today. There's a lot to get to kick off your weekend. Here's what you need to know and what's trending. Justin Bieber has filed a $20 million defamation lawsuit against two women who have accused him of sexual assault. In the filing obtained by People, Bieber's lawyers claim that the accusations against him are factually impossible and have been disproven by indisputable documentary evidence and by the own admissions of the women. The lawyers claim to have proven that Bieber could not have been at the locations at the time that the women alleged the sexual assaults took place. The two accusers remain anonymous except for their Twitter handles and respective names on social media, Danielle and Katie. Danielle has deleted her account. The complaint says that Danielle accused Bieber of sexually assaulting her on March 9th, 2014 at the Four Seasons Hotel in Austin, Texas. But his lawyers argue that Bieber did not stay at that hotel at that time, and they have multiple witnesses and documentary evidence to dispute her, quote, malicious lie. Bieber's lawyers claim that Danielle fabricated her sexual encounter with Bieber at the Four Seasons because it was publicly reported that he had dinner at the Four Seasons restaurant on March 10th. But the lawyers claim he did not stay at that hotel, and they produced receipts of a rental property where he stayed with then-girlfriend Selena Gomez. His lawyers also point out that Katie alleged that she was invited by Bieber to his hotel room at 2:30 a.m. on March 5th, 2015 in New York City. However, according to the lawyers, Bieber was seen at the Met Gala after party by multiple witnesses at that time. And we, of course, like to remind everyone, if you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, please contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline. It is 1-800-656-HOPE, or you can go to online.rainn.org. Jada Pinkett Smith is lending her voice in the effort to seek justice for Brianna Taylor. On Thursday, Pinkett Smith attended a rally at the Kentucky State Capitol in Frankfort in honor of Taylor, who was fatally shot by police officers that invaded her home on March 13th during a botched no-knock search warrant. Pinkett Smith's kids, Jaden and Willow, joined her at that rally. Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, stood beside Pinkett Smith as she addressed the crowd with an empowering speech. Take a listen.
One thing I want you to know, it does not go unseen that the revolution and the fight stands on your shoulders. Now, Tamika can't get out there today to shake all of your hands for your love and for your courage. But I want you to know that we want to say thank you. Thank you. Because it is you standing out here that's going to keep shining a light on Brianna's name.
Jada also expressed why it was important for her to attend the demonstration with her family. She said, quote, what we need is justice for our sister Brianna, and that's why we're here today, and that's why my family is here today. She continued, from one family to another, to Tamika, we wanted to come here, show our love, and amplify your voice, and amplify the life of your daughter. We love you. Rapper Common also spoke at that rally. He told supporters to stand up for Black women.
As a child of God, I stand up for Black women because standing up for Black women is standing up for humanity. It's standing up for righteousness and justice. It's standing up for freedom, a freedom that knows action, a love that is in action. I stand up for Black women because it's a Black woman who told me to say her name. Say her name. Say her name. Say her name.
The rapper shared footage from the event and explained in the caption that he attended the rally to demand justice for Taylor. He added in part, "We must continue to speak out and speak up." And then there's also this, watch. Country group The Dixie Chicks has changed their band name to The Chicks, dropping Dixie, which is a nickname for the Civil War era in the South. The Chicks debuted their new title and acknowledged a New Zealand-based group that also goes by The Chicks for letting them share the name. They also debuted their new song, March March, which you just heard a little bit of there. In their statement on their website, the Chicks tell their fans that they wanted to meet the moment. And they do in their new music video, which features footage of recent protests in support of Black Lives Matter, women's rights, gay rights, and environmental activists. The Chicks honor all the Black men and women who have died from police brutality, and they end the video by encouraging people to use their voices and vote. They highlight a number of organizations people can donate to now. The Chicks' decision to rename themselves comes after another country group, Lady Antebellum, announced that they had changed their name to Lady A. The group announced their decision in an Instagram post and said that their hearts have been stirred with conviction, our eyes open wide to the injustices, inequality, and biases that Black women and men have always faced and continue to face every day. The country group Lady A connected privately with solo blues artist Lady A, who's been using the name for decades prior to the trio's announcement. The group added in their statement, quote, "We are excited to share that we are moving forward with positive solutions and common ground. The hurt is turning into hope." And now watch this.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way!
Get ready to get to the bus. Elizabeth Banks has been cast as Miss Frizzle for the upcoming live-action Magic School Bus film. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actress is set to play the quirky and adventurous science teacher based on that popular Scholastic children's book series. This feature film marks the first big-screen adaptation in the franchise's 26-year history. It's a big deal. Banks will also act as a producer on the film. Another producer for Scholastic Entertainment opened up about the film, saying, quote, "We're delighted to bring to life the iconic Miss Frizzle and her zest for knowledge and adventure in a fresh new way that inspires the next generation of kids to explore science and supports the dedicated teachers who help make science real and accessible for young learners every day." We're sure a lot of adults that grew up with the series will enjoy the nostalgia of it as well. I know I'm pumped for it. A release date for the film has not yet been announced. Now, The Magic School Bus was originally a book series by Joanna Cole and Bruce Deegan before being turned into an educational PBS series in 1994. The animated TV show featured Lily Tomlin as the original voice of Miss Frizzle. It aired for 18 consecutive years in the US. It's been broadcast in more than 100 countries around the world. In 2017, Netflix premiered a sequel to the series called The Magic School Bus Rides Again, which featured Kate McKinnon as the voice of teacher Fiona Frizzle, who is the sister of Miss Frizzle. All right, stay with us. We're chatting with actress and comedian Nicole Byer about her new book, Very Fat, Very Brave, which takes readers on a journey towards self-love. Plus, actor Hank Azaria is talking all about the final season of his Hulu series, Brockmire. Stick around. All right, guys, now that summer has officially begun, it may be hard to believe, but there is nothing more quintessentially summer than going to the beach. A little beach vacay sounds so good, but with the coronavirus still circling around the world and in the US, is it even safe, and what are the precautions we need to take? Well, to discuss all of that, we've got Health.com assistant editor Maggie O'Neill with us. Maggie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to talk to you. So let's just start with the big question right now. Some beaches are open, some are not. But how big of a risk is it if we make our way to an open beach?
So the good news is that if you can go to the beach, it's relatively safe as long as you're taking all the recommended safety precautions. It may be a better alternative than gathering in an enclosed public space because the open air and the breeze make it less likely for respiratory particles to transmit, and the open areas are ideal for social distancing.
Right.
However, as with any trip anywhere right now, the dentist, a hotel, anything, the main concern is your proximity to other people. The risk of going to the beach right now is no different, especially if it's packed with vacationers.
Got it. That makes sense. And so the social distancing piece is obviously important, making some space around you. Are there any other tips to I can keep my family safe, keep myself safe as I go out?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main two things, like I said, are the same as if you're going to the mall, the grocery store, wherever. It's just making sure you're staying 6 feet from other people and making sure you're wearing a mask. If the beach isn't very crowded and you're mainly just around the people you've been quarantining with, you don't need to necessarily wear a mask all the time. but you need to have it on hand if you go to, for example, a public restroom or to the concession stand or anywhere where you might come in contact with other people.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the restrooms. Talk about that a little bit. The public restrooms in a beach environment, really anywhere at this point. Should we avoid those, or what's kind of the advice?
So some will be open and some won't. It depends on the public beach that you're going to. But again, the main thing is making sure you pack hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes in your beach bag, things that you don't normally take to the beach, but this year you definitely should, and that you always have a mask on you.
Now we're at the beach. What about going in the water? Is there any different rule there? Is it safe to be in the water at the beach?
So COVID-19 doesn't live very well in the salt water, so you don't need to be worried about swimming if other people are swimming. That said, again, the main thing is just making sure you're keeping your distance from other swimmers.
Let's talk about this as far as accommodations. If you're going to a beach environment, would a rental home, for example, be safer than maybe a hotel?
So I wouldn't say it's necessarily safer. I think there are questions that you need to ask, for example, an Airbnb host or a hotel manager. Ask, when was the last time that someone stayed in either the rental home or the hotel room you're staying in? And if you're staying in a hotel, don't be shy. Make sure you ask about what kind of cleaning protocols they've put in place since the pandemic began, and see if you can stay in a room that isn't close to where anyone else in the hotel is staying, if they can spread you out.
Yeah, again, it sounds like the most consistent factor is that distance, the social distancing thing in every environment. Social distance, sanitize, wash your hands, all the things we've been hearing. We'll keep it up. Maggie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's good to talk to you. And guys, for more up-to-date information about COVID-19 beach safety, be sure to visit the CDC, the WHO, and local public health department sites for resources. Venus Williams has won some major tennis titles, as well as an Olympic gold medal, but she admits that winning equal pay at Wimbledon is her proudest tennis victory. We absolutely love her, and we're honoring Venus in the latest episode of People and Katie Couric's #SeeHerStory. It's a weekly video series celebrating female trailblazers from the past 100 years. Take a look.
Venus also challenged the status quo off the court. In 2006, she called out organizers of Wimbledon for paying the women players less than the men. They changed the rules, and when Venus won Wimbledon the following year, she earned as much prize money as Roger Federer.
To watch all of the #SeeHerStory episodes, head to people.com. And to learn more about Venus's successful career and work that she does off the court, you can check out this week's issue of People.
Actress, comedian, writer, and host Nicole Byer has a new book called Very Fat, Very Brave, and in it, she's taking readers on a journey towards shameless self-love. Of course, a lot of laughs as well in the book. Nicole joins me now to tell us all about it. How's it going, Nicole?
Oh, pretty good. I just woke up.
Before we get into the book and everything else you have going on, I do want to talk about your extracurricular activities. I saw that you recently bought a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, I bought a motorcycle in June. When did I buy it? December. I had wanted to learn for like a really long time, and then I took a motorcycle class, failed my road test, and then I was like, might as well just buy one. So I bought a motorcycle. I've ridden it maybe 3 times because COVID started, and I was like, if I fall off this thing, I can't go to the hospital. So
yeah, that's so fun. I'm terrified of motorcycles, so I applaud you. I did notice that you also are like working on all your special skills, which I really appreciate because I feel like I do the same thing. I saw that you've been learning to skate, pole dancing, the splits, which I taught myself how to do the splits. It's difficult.
It is difficult, and you have to be patient. So like I could do a split ever since I was little, but like I couldn't get it flat. So I've just been taking this like stretching class, and I have an app on my phone. But yeah, it's so hard. My hips hurt right now because I did a class yesterday.
You shared a few videos of you pole dancing, which is also very hard. I mean, what's the update with pole dancing? Any new tricks?
I learned one trick where you like literally hold your body with just the fold of your knee, like the back fold of your knee. It's called like a leg hang, and it is brutal. It hurts. But I'm still doing it. I haven't been doing it as much because I've been slightly like a little bit more busy than normal.
Yeah, well, keep it up. Love seeing those posts. Speaking of things that you share on Instagram, on a more serious note here, you've also been sharing a lot of posts relating to racial injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement. You're very vocal about it. Why is it personally important to you to continue to share that info on your social media?
I talk about it in my stand-up act. I know a lot of other Black comics who talk about it in their acts. People laugh, but are you listening? So it's like, if you're just realizing shit's been like pretty bad for a minute, I guess I have to just remind you via social media. My friend was like, your Instagram's really funny right now because it's like joke, 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 Black Lives Matter, here's some information, joke, 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 joke. And I was like, well, yeah, because like I can't fully give up what I do. Like, I like being funny, I like telling jokes, but honestly right now I don't feel like being funny. I'm finding it hard to be funny. So it makes me feel better to like give people information.
So many people are just learning about this all right now, which is crazy because it's been happening. But do you feel that there really is momentum here and that change is really happening?
Yes, I do think there's momentum, and I do think change will happen, specifically because I think people have been radicalized in a way that they've never been radicalized before. And that being said, I understand like the civil rights movement, like had a ton of people, like there's just like more allies on our side, and we're telling them that it's not good enough to be a good ally. You have to be an active ally. So like, I think that's helpful. I think that there have been protests every day since May. That's helpful. Like shit's getting done. Like Cuomo tweeted, he was like, I think you made your point. And it was like, no, we sure didn't. There's still like, you got to defund the police. And I'm not saying we don't need cops. I'm just saying we need a different system if this one isn't working. Why? It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But obviously this is broken. I don't think you can fix something this broken that's rooted in so much racism. Like, I knew that police came essentially from like patrolling around, capturing slaves, bringing the property, slaves were property, enslaved people were property, bringing them back to their owners. I didn't realize that a sheriff's star is essentially the same star that they wore back then. They didn't even have the decency or the courtesy to change that. So it's like, if something is so, and then Klan members in the 60s were on the police department. Like, it's just like, it's so ingrained in racism. And then also think of like what a cop does. They either sit at a station and wait for calls, or they patrol the streets looking for trouble. Like in these like intense outfits with these weapons. And it's like, if you really think about it, it's like, I don't think people need that.
It's really nice to hear your insight on all of this, and then we could talk about this forever. We do have to get to the book though, which is really, really exciting. So this is your first book, right?
It is, and I hesitate to call it a book. There's very little words. It's essentially like a coffee table book, picture book, but like has tips and tricks and like how to wear a bikini in the summer if you're a fat lady. It also applies if you're not a fat lady. If you like have just a little less confidence than you should have, I think it's good to read someone being like, I don't care, neither should you.
Your bikini collection's incredible. How many suits do you actually own?
Over 100.
Over 100? That's awesome.
Yeah, to make up for all the years I didn't wear one.
That's great. You know, you have all these wonderful pictures, but there is this overall message. What is the main takeaway that you hope readers take away from this?
I hope people speak nicer to their bodies, just because like the world is so hard and you hear so much awful shit all the time. Like, wouldn't it just be nice to look in the mirror and be like, oh, don't you look lovely? And I'm not saying that you can't have bad days, because everybody does. I do. But for the most part, I choose to like what I see in the mirror because the world's too hard.
Guys, you obviously know this man's face, and you also certainly know his voice. Hank Azaria, who voices so many characters that we love on The Simpsons, has done so many incredible roles and just finished his 4th and final season of IFC's Brockmire. It's streaming now on Hulu. You can binge it, and Hank is here to tell us all about it. Hey, Hank, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Where are you? In LA? Where are you?
I'm New York. We're in Manhattan. Pushing through.
Nice.
But one of the things we're doing, though, is binging like crazy. Brockmire is kind of the perfect fit. So it wrapped up, but now it's available to stream, which is just an incredible thing. Gotta feel good for you to have this whole new audience kind of swelling up as people are binging it. Give us the reasons why it is the perfect show to binge.
Well, I will. There are good reasons for this, and I will offer up the Brockmire challenge first. Ooh. I'm uncomfortable sort of promoting my own stuff that much, especially when I really think it's great, because, which I do with Brockmire, because you sound false, you know. On every project in the world, you have to say, even if you think it's the worst thing in the world, yes, I'm very proud of this. It's
best
wonderful.
thing I've ever done.
Yes, when it's, you know, in thought bubble, this thing is a mess. But Brockmire actually is my favorite thing I've ever done. And I offer the Brockmire challenge. I've been running around doing this. Watch first 5 minutes on Hulu of season 1, episode 1. If you don't laugh out loud, you can stop. But I almost guarantee that you will laugh out loud. And Brockmire, you can binge, like all 4 seasons are on Hulu right now. You can be, they're you know, 8 episode seasons, 22 minutes each. So that's like one quarantine afternoon.
Yeah,
and
no, that's right.
Not only is it really, really funny and outrageously funny, but it's got a very strong narrative. The story is really good. It's as good as any drama. And the emotionality of it really sneaks up on you. It's very touching without being sentimental, but very raunchy.
Was sports broadcasting ever something you really wanted to do?
No, I mean, I love talking like this. This is the Jim Brockmire voice. This is the generic baseball announcer voice of the 1970s. Which
that's right.
I always found silky smooth and delightful. It's like, I don't know, barrel-aged whiskey or something, the local equivalent. But no, I love sports, and I'm kind of going through withdrawal without it right now. No, I never really was knowledgeable enough or facile enough that way. Those guys make something very, very difficult look very, very easy. Calling any kind of ball game is hard to do.
I feel like having the ability to have these different voices would really help in dad life and around the house. Either that or it drives everyone crazy. How does it work for you?
It's both. Much more the latter. Much more the... Listen, that goes back a lot. Since I was a kid, I've been doing voices, and you know, I'm from Queens. My dad was, he was a loving, sweet guy, but he didn't understand the whole voice thing, you know. So I would hear things at the dinner table like this. All right, for this meal, we're all going to talk in our normal voices, right? Everybody's going to speak in our own voice, which was pretty much only directed at me.
Like, them's the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I actually ran into, when we were pregnant, I ran into Robin Williams, who I worked with a few times. And
wow.
He, of course, you know, saw my wife's big pregnant belly and did 20 minutes of shtick based on it. And then when he stopped, he said, "You'll see." He knew I was a voice guy as well. And he said, "You'll see your child will not let you speak in any other voices for the first 6 years of their life." And he was totally right.
A lot of shows on hold at this point. What's the status with The Simpsons right now?
We're going. I mean, they sent a lot of equipment to my house. I now can record from home, which I do. And I thought every animated show was doing that, but I guess they weren't. A lot of folks, I guess, have called the Simpsons producers to ask, "How are you doing this?" And
wow.
Helped other animated shows follow suit.
So it's
yeah, we haven't missed a beat. Yeah, no. If anything, it got easier for me. I hate to say this, but it actually got a little easier for me. I just do it from my house.
Yeah, just rolling in your pajamas and good to go. Cup of coffee.
Sometimes not even pajamas.
Sometimes not even that. No. Maybe the inspiration comes a little more, right? When you're just all al natural. 700th episode is coming up. What can we expect?
We just did the table read for that 700th episode, which they announced, which I could not believe. I know that we're about like halfway through the season of reading them and recording them. And at least like 3 or 4 of them have been some of the funniest I think we've ever done.
I noticed that you just recently posted on Instagram a really heartfelt and thoughtful response to some of the criticism about the character of Pooh.
Yeah.
Can you just share some of that? And you even referred people to like a workshop that you had been to. And in the climate of things, it seems like that type of conversation is one that's more and more necessary and obviously worth having.
Yeah, you know, thank you for asking this, because it's something I've been passionate about for like the last about 7 years since the Apu controversy, for lack of a better way to put it, came up. And so it inspired me, spurred me on, motivated me to look very seriously into social justice, racial issues. And you know, when criticism of the character first started, I didn't want to either knee-jerk stop doing the character because folks didn't seem to like it, or stubbornly hang on to the character because other folks didn't like that. So it started me kind of looking to make my own decision about it, led me to having to learn, and which just seems to be a moment that society's in right now, which although very tragic events led to it, I'm glad people are doing. And I can say that there really is the information available, and it's got a very rich reward. And whatever you decide, whatever people's personal APU decisions are in their life, whatever you decide, it's really a worthwhile journey to learn as much as possible the history of racism in this country and the context for it, and as white people, what we don't know, because we have blind spots. We don't have to know it. You know, I certainly didn't. So it's really been an incredibly eye-opening, rich experience. And these guys at I've taken many a seminar. There's a group called Soul Focused, run by Dustin Washington and Maddy Berwick and some other wonderful people. They do a seminar called Interrupting Racism. And it was a life-changing couple of days where people of all colors kind of come together to share their experience in an atmosphere where no one's shamed, everyone's allowed to speak honestly about what they really think and feel. And that, almost more than anything else, really helped open my eyes.
I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts on that. It's really great to kind of get a glimpse into the journey that you've been on, and it's so relevant right now and what's happening, an important conversation. All right, just the final base level question about The Simpsons. Favorite character at the moment that you can't wait to do again?
That's also sort of like, it's a tough one for me. I think Mo, the bartender, is the closest to my heart. I used to bartend myself, and I feel Mo's from Queens. It kind of sounds like he's from Queens, don't he?
Right. I think that's the same voice you did for your dad earlier. So.
Yeah. Well, my dad's a little deeper.
Oh, there we go.
My dad's a little deeper. Yeah. We're all going to speak we're all going to use our own voice. I'm not sure if I ever used Mo at the table. I don't know.
There you go. Hey, thank you for humoring me and taking the bait and doing the voices. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And guys, be sure to check out Brockmire. It's streaming right now on Hulu. Thanks so much.
Check it out on Hulu. Take the Brockmire challenge.
All right, everyone. So being at home is definitely shifting our lives in many ways, including working out. So if you found yourself not getting those workouts in, feeling sluggish, not hitting your fitness goals, you are not alone. Here to share some workout moves and tips to help you get back in the groove of things, fitness trainer and motivator, one of my favorite people that we ever have on our show. It's Shaun T. How's it going, Shaun T?
What's up, Andrea? It's going good. I can say it's going good now. As you know, quarantine shifted everybody's life. Not just, it shifted their life, which shifted their fitness, shifted their mindset, shifted their family. And obviously, you know me, I'm all about positivity, but it was really tough.
Let's get to the fitness here. So people are worried about the COVID-15. So how do people avoid it? And what's your advice for someone that's struggling right now to reach their fitness goals?
People who are struggling right now, I go back to what I say all the time. I'm like 5 minutes a day. On my YouTube channel, I have 5-minute workouts. Everybody can do 5 minutes and move on. And just trying to stay consistent with the amount of time that you work out, even if it's 5 minutes, builds consistency, and consistency over time will help you see that you can trust that you can be committed, and then you'll get stronger, which means you'll be able to do more and you'll feel like you can do more. And so, you know, the COVID-15 can go away very quickly if you just commit. So simply like having 30 days of commitment to 5 minutes a day. And some people are like, you're supposed to work out 30 minutes a day and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, they can't. So are they not supposed to do anything at all? So just do something for like 5 minutes a day, increase it after 30 days, stay committed to it, eat really well, and you'll be good to go.
So you have a few moves that you're gonna show us today that people can do from their own homes. So let's get to it.
All right, so the first move is called an X-Jack. I think it's amazing because it works your quads, your calves, your triceps, your back, and it's gonna help you burn a lot of calories. So I'm gonna show you the low impact move first, and then we'll take it up. So all you gotta do is step out side to side, but come onto the balls of your feet, right? So this is a level 1. And if you squeeze your back as you come up, it feels great. Level 2 of this move is just a jack, but bringing your arms down, and you actually squeeze your abs as your hands come in, And then level 3 is a jump out, an extra big jump. Yes, yes. So if you just do that one, if you do that, each of those moves for 30 seconds, you have your first minute and a half. Okay. Then the second move you can do is what I like to call the stance slalom. So you put your arm down, bring your knees together, and you're jumping side to side, and you're crossing over your body and taking your butt as low as you can by bending your knees. Now, if you don't want to jump, you can simply just do this, but really squeeze your knees together. Yes, Andrea, look at that form. Yes, I love it. Really squeeze your knees together first. Okay, so you do that for a minute and a half, you'll be good. Now, my last move, I'm gonna start off very easy, and then we're gonna take it to a little higher on impact. So, it's really squatting and lifting your foot in the back. And I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see how my leg is bent, and I squeeze my butt as I lift my heel in the air. Squeeze my butt like this. So that's level 1. Level 2 is a hop, lift, hop, lift, hop, lift, hop, right? And then the last level, which is a little tougher, we're gonna angle. You do a hop, hop, lift, hop, hop, lift, hop, hop, flat back, 2 hops, try to bend that knee as much as you can, lift your butt up in the back, squeeze the glute.
Great.
So basically, if you do that, each of those moves for a minute and a half, you got what, 1.5, 3, 4.5 minutes, and then you did like pull down. But I say do them again. Do it like 3 times through, and you don't even have to get on the floor. You know, it's just something that you can do to get your heart rate up and feel good.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Sean. And for everyone watching, you can follow Sean on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on TikTok. Go find him at Sean T.
All right, coming up next week, George Lopez joins us to talk all about his first ever Netflix comedy special. It's called We'll Do It for Half. Plus, Real Housewives of Atlanta star Phaedra Parks is taking her new relationship to marriage boot camp hip hop edition. She's telling us more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to spend the weekend here at the farm with this little bunny. Hopefully you have a great weekend too. We'll see you back here next week.